Right over there in the distance, 10,000 soldiers of the Roman army getting really close to this mountain, surrounded it by a wall 2 meters high that no one can go out, no one can get inside. The Jewish people are stuck on the top of this mountain, and right where we just climbed on the other side, they're building a huge ramp that they can build a huge tower that would break the gate to get inside and kill the last Jewish people ever exist on the top of this mountain. But this is not the story I want to tell you. There's something totally different happening right here on the top of the mountain. When the Romans are coming and the Jewish people look like they doesn't have any chance, Elazar ben Yair, the leader of the Jewish people, calling all the men to the synagogue to tell them something quite important. Listen up, my fellow men, because only men allowed to get inside the synagogue back in time. Every one of you will go back to his house because we can't really stand against the Roman army. We're gonna all die as free people. You're gonna kill your own women, kill your own children, and then we're gonna commit a suicide, and then we're gonna show the Romans that we die as free people and not as slaves. People didn't even know what to do, but you don't have any chance when you got all these Romans surrounding the mountain. They're having a vote, and everyone put your hands up to do this horrible act of killing your own family and committing suicide just for dying up as free people. And this is how it goes. Every man from the synagogue is going to his house, calling to his woman that he chose to live the Jewish life, giving her a last hug, but while he's doing it, he's taking a dagger and killing his own wife. Right after that, he's going to his own children, tuck them back in bed, reading them a last night story, and when they're closing their eyes, he's taking the same dagger and killing his own children. Right after that, everyone is coming back to the synagogue, having a lottery, when only 10 people chosen to kill all the other people on the mountain. Killing the grandpa, the uncle, the rabbi that were actually used to live here in the community. Right after, these 10 people is making a lottery, when the last person is killing all the other 9, going to the edge of the mountain and screaming as loud as he can to all the people around, to all the Roman people to hear him, Masada will never fall again. He's taking the dagger and committing suicide in front of the soldiers right over there. And it started to be very quiet on the mountain. Nothing really moves right here. People, thousands of them, are dying on top of this mountain. With first light, with the first sun, the Romans are climbing up to the top of the mountain. When they're getting inside, they're sure that the Jewish people are actually planning something. Maybe they're hiding, maybe they're attempting to jump on them and kill the last soldiers that are climbing up the mountain. But no, unfortunately when they're getting here, they see those piles of bodies of men, women, and children on the top of this mountain. After traveling all the empire and conquered the area, they're really understanding that the Jewish people here did something quite different from what they really expected to do. After being in the desert, they planned to come here on the top of this mountain, rape the woman, get all the jewelries and the expensive stuff, and go back to Rome as winners. But right here, the story ends up different. Who is the winner in this story? Is it the Jewish people that died as free people and not as slaves? Or it's actually the Romans that actually succeeded to finish all the generation of the Jewish people? This mountain is a myth for the Israel newborn state, because there's a lot of meaning behind the story about what we should do in case of emergency. What would you do in a case that you know that you're the last Jewish person ever exist on earth? What would you do when you're sitting right here and right over there the sky is totally red and black because your temple, the place that your God is staying, is collapsing, is destroyed? What would you do in this story? This is the question that we're going to ask for the next 45 minutes when we go around and see some of the places that was very, very interesting in the same story. This is the story of the myth of Masada, and right after the sun is rising up, after the sun that rises up in the same day when the Romans came here, all this concept of Judaism and the mountain and the new state of Israel actually changed during the time. Later on, we're gonna have kind of like this